Hi everyone, my name is Puzzle, and today we're going to discuss even more new details about Dying Light that have surfaced in various interviews following the reveal of the gameplay trailer. I've gathered all the information into one video, and I hope you'll learn a lot of new things today. Most of the details come from a video on the Easy Allies channel, so big thanks to them for their material. To summarize, we'll talk about how swamps and the sound of your footsteps in them will attract hordes of zombies, the new parkour mechanics, the director's statement that the game's main feature will be a terrifying night forest, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe. Let's start with movement in the game. According to Techland's director Timon Smektawa, movement in the game is going to change significantly. The reason is that experiments were conducted on Kyle Crane over 13 years, which seems to be the prologue of the game. In the new gameplay trailer, we see the person who experimented on Kyle all those years. This person is the Baron. The Baron is a brutal yet sophisticated villain, which we can infer from his collection of paintings at the beginning of the trailer, and the various details on his clothing. He strives for greatness, and Kyle has become his ultimate creation. As the director mentioned in an interview, the Baron has profoundly altered Crane's abilities. He has given Kyle the ability to move in ways no ordinary human ever could. These abilities will play a significant role in the gameplay because now we'll be able to reach areas that were inaccessible in the previous games. There will be entirely new puzzles involving climbing and traversal. The game will allow you to access very high locations, and while the director didn't give many specifics, I suspect we'll have access to some extremely powerful jumps and possibly wall climbing mechanics. Based on everything described, the game is starting to remind me of one of my favorite games, Prototype. But that's not all. According to the developer, in zombie games, players often feel like victims. Most of the time, we're running away, our weapons break, and we're always in a weak position. While there will be moments like this in the new game, there will also be moments where the tables turn and Kyle Crane becomes a true nightmare for zombies in this world. The developer compared this state of the character to Pac-Man, where enemies suddenly start fleeing and Pac-Man becomes a huge threat to them. This is the kind of feeling the developers are aiming to create in Dying Light. By the way guys, yesterday I released a video about the Easter eggs I found in the new Cyberpunk update. If you're interested, make sure to check it out after finishing this video. Another topic covered in the interviews is the large number of forests in the game. Yes, the new game will feature many dense forests. As it turns out, the standard parkour mechanics from the previous games didn't work well in this environment. Since most of the buildings in the world are low and the forests are vast and dense, the developers had to come up with something new. Traditional parkour simply didn't function properly in this setting. Additionally, the forest is designed to be a place where players will feel scared. It's a horror location that we'll encounter in the dead of night, armed with only a flashlight. Kyle will need to hide in the shadows and rely on stealth. I also think this ties into the prologue. In the gameplay trailer, we see Kyle wreaking havoc in the Baron's lab, then we're shown the dark forest, capturing the atmosphere described by Timon Smektawa in his interview. I believe the forest will be the location where Kyle first uses his monstrous abilities in an open environment. This is further supported by the first trailer, where we see a scene of soldiers entering a barn-like building with flashlights cautiously searching for someone. They move carefully, aware that something dangerous and powerful awaits them inside. Immediately after, we see Kyle tearing these soldiers apart and presumably running into the forest to hide. As Timon stated, the main selling point of the new game is nighttime survival in the forest. This is the key theme he emphasized. Contact! The next question was about the day-night cycle in the game. According to Timon, the team has been working on Dying Light for over 10 years, and they don't want to change the formula they've stuck to. This means the day-night cycle will function and feel the same as in the first two games. At night, it's better to hide, while daytime is relatively safer. The same applies to melee combat and parkour. These core features of the series aren't going anywhere. On the contrary, the developers are looking to enhance these aspects. However, some things will change. The game will have fewer safe zones and fewer obstacles in the environment. Instead, there will be swamps, hills, forests, and fields. This introduces new challenges. For instance, running through swamps at night will create sounds that echo across the nearby forest, attracting zombies. Similarly, snapping branches in the forest might alert something or someone you'd rather avoid. The game will be full of new elements like these to consider. This is likely why vehicles were added to the game, to diversify the natural locations and allow faster traversal. However, vehicles will now have a survival element. The developers implemented this to maintain the horror atmosphere. Vehicles will be heavier to control, and players will need to take care of them. You'll have to think about refueling, repairing, or dealing with issues along the way. And yes, you heard it right. Vehicles will require fuel, maintenance, and careful handling. Sure, you can run over zombies and it'll be fun, but if you overdo it, your vehicle will end up destroyed. Another interesting topic is co-op. According to Timon, it won't be the main focus. The reason is that, as mentioned earlier, the game aims for a horror atmosphere, scary and genuinely dark moments. Co-op can ruin this immersion if, for example, players start discussing their favorite shows or what they ate for breakfast during a tense forest exploration. Therefore, co-op is being reworked slightly, though details weren't provided. In general, you'll still be able to play in co-op mode, but it'll follow the game's tone. Timon also mentioned that the story will be linear. There won't be many choices or branching paths. This is because the new game serves as a bridge between the first and second parts, and the developers don't want to disrupt the canon established in the previous games. Additionally, this sets the stage for the next installment in the series. Timon openly stated that the Beast will define the direction for the third game and give fans an idea of where the series is heading. Moreover, a shorter duration and a stronger focus on the narrative have made the new game more polished. The story is richer and more engaging, and the map is far more detailed. The developers have crafted every part of the map by hand, carefully designing each location. As of now, this is the most refined, detailed, and well thought out Dying Light, and for all the Easter egg and secret hunters out there, you'll be happy to know there will be plenty in the game. As you know, my channel is all about Easter eggs, so I highly recommend subscribing to stay tuned for future breakdowns. Thank you so much for your support. Lastly, if you haven't seen my previous video about the new Dying Light gameplay, I highly suggest watching it right after this one. This is Puzzles. Leave your comments on what you think about the new info. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And of course, see you in the next video.
It's not your fault, Kyle.
I do not feel obliged to believe that the same God who has endowed us with sense, reason, and intellect has intended us to forego their use. He has gifted us the means to decipher the code of nature, and it's our highest purpose we must strive to accomplish. I only answer to this divine calling. And you.
Do you see who's the real beast here?